Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. So as you can see, I changed my PNG again and changed the background for the very first time. So the background actually matches like my room in real life. Well, besides the bed placement and the table placement, but you know, it's still very accurate to my room in real life. For some of you that don't know, your favorite autistic commentary YouTuber loves Roblox. I've been playing Roblox ever since 2018. Yes, I'm being dead serious. Even though I started my account back in like 2022. On Christmas Day, by the way. One of the games that I remember playing back in 2018 was Weightlifting Simulator 3. I used to play this a lot with my brother. And if you're wondering, no, sadly you can't play this game anymore. For some reason this game was unavailable. However though, simulator games are not my favorite type of Roblox games. One of my favorite types of Roblox games are asymmetrical horror games. Now, what is an asymmetrical horror game? Well, it's basically killer versus survivors. The survivors are supposed to survive while doing objectives, and the killer is supposed to kill the survivors before the timer runs out. It's pretty simple. There are a lot of Roblox asymmetrical horror games, like Forsaken, Die of Death, Outcome Memories, Pillar Chase 2, Doomed by Fate, and there's just a lot more. One of my favorite asymmetrical horror games personally are Forsaken and Die of Death. Both of these games are really good. If you want to go check out those games, then go ahead. Although I don't recommend joining the Forsaken community because you might already know how bad it is, or maybe not. Although, why did I all of a sudden start talking about asymmetrical horror games? Well, that's because in today's video, I want to talk about some upcoming asymmetrical horror games that are coming out this year, 2026. Or maybe one of them is coming out next year, I have no idea. But before we start, if you already liked this video, then make sure to subscribe because we're trying to hit 20,000 subs by the next hour. So yeah, subscribe. Alright, so let's start off with the first one. Alright, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to FNAF. Mostly because I never really played any of the FNAF games besides FNAF World, since, well, those games cost money and FNAF World was free. But also because I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to actually playing horror games. So, yeah. This doesn't mean I hate FNAF, though. I think FNAF is a pretty good horror franchise. But, you know, just not the biggest fan. But the idea of a FNAF asymmetrical horror game, I immediately love the idea. And the craziest part is that this game is not even made by Scott Cawthon, you know, the creator of FNAF. No, the game is actually made by a Roblox animator, Oxelblocks, that you might recognize them from making those Forsaken animations.
It's time to go to heaven, my child.
Stop it, what are you doing? Stop it, cut it out, help.
Which is crazy because the graphics makes this look like an official FNAF game. Like, that is some impressive shit. At this point, he should recreate Bite by Night on a completely different game studio. Although there isn't really that much information about Bite by Night so far, since it's in its very early stages. Instead, on this section, I'm gonna be talking about all the characters and leaks that we've seen so far. Oh yeah, and also skins. How could I possibly forget about that? So far, the characters that are coming to the game are Springtrap and the Mimic. There's actually a third one coming, and that character is from The Joy of Creation, which they got permissions from. Although I forgot what character it was, so we'll leave that aside. Springtrap's running animations and killing animations look really good. Same thing with the Mimic. Mimic's killing animation is also pretty damn good. There's also two Springtrap skins that I'm assuming that are coming on release. And that is Purple Guy Animatronic and Toon Springtrap. If you find this skin familiar, that's because it's inspired by that one animation made by Pymation. Alright, so that's pretty much everything about Bye Bye Night that we know so far. Told you it was just little information. Oxelblocks, if you're watching this, keep up the good fucking work. You definitely deserve the love. And also, we are Bye Bye Night.
It's time to have some fun with Uncle Samson.
Now, I know what you're wondering. Wait, Pillar Chase 2, isn't that already an asymmetrical horror game? Yes, but we're talking about the recode here, not the current one. So yeah, obviously most of y'all are probably confused on why Pillar Chase 2 is even on this list, even though it's already a game. Let me explain. So if you didn't know, Pillar Chase 2 is going to be getting a recode. That's coming out in 2026 since it's mostly finished. Like, literally, there's no way that this game can come out in 2027. Like, that is impossible. I would be surprised if the game would come out next year, but you know, it's not possible. Now, I know you're wondering, Why are they making a recode? The current Pillow Chase 2 is still pretty good, so what's the point of doing a recode? I think I might know the reason, but I'm not 100% sure, obviously. So correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Apparently the reason why Blade Ninja is making a recode of Pillow Chase 2 is because he's not really having any fun working on the current one. I think I remember seeing a tweet about this, although I'm not entirely sure. Because trust me, I tried finding that exact same tweet, although unfortunately I wasn't able to find it. So I'm not entirely sure. And if it's not that, then it's probably because of the copyright issues that the original game had. You know, with some of the characters being removed from the game because, well, they're copyrighted. And for the recode, they received new designs. Because some of the characters were removed from the original Pillow Chase 2. But they are coming back to the recode, but with new designs that actually look pretty good. My favorite monster redesign is most definitely PCX because, well, he looks fire. So, yeah. Actually, as of recording this, I finally found the tweet that I was talking about. Blade Ninja has declared that he's tired of developing Pillow Chase 2, and now will work on a first installment of the Pillow Chase 2 saga. Due to this, the game is closed for the moment. So, yeah, that's pretty much the reason. Alright, back to the video. Alright, now we're done with all this. What's the difference between the recode and the current one? Well, there's actually two differences. Or I guess one, since, well, one of those differences is like the current one, but way more upgraded, I guess. The first one is that you can actually escape mid-round, but it's not exactly the way that you're probably thinking right now. Basically, in the recode, the only way to escape is to collect gadgets to activate the exit. So when you collect all the gadgets, you wait 15 seconds and then you successfully escape the monster. But if the exit is already closed, you cannot reopen it again with the same gadgets, since, well, you can't recollect those gadgets again. So you're basically forced to survive the monster, so good luck. And the second difference is classes. The current Pillow Chase 2 does have classes, or I guess abilities, but in the recoded game, it's a little bit more different than you think it is. As in my research, there's a total of 4 different classes in the recode, but I'm too lazy to talk about them, so let's just move on. Oh yeah, if you're wondering what killers that are coming to the game, the killers are Vapor, Aoni, AO1, MX, Strinkin, Valum, Sumations, and Fogborn. Alright, we're done talking about the recode. Now let's talk about the last aysm game on this list. And it's personally the one that I'm the most excited for. Like, really excited for it.
Sorry, John, but I don't think you qualified as a killer.
The final Roblox aysm horror game that we're going to be talking about in this video is Blockbound. Blockbound is a Minecraft asymmetrical horror game made by Zocters. And if you find him familiar, that's because he's the same person that made the Admin Noise skin, the White Pumpkin rework, and the Warden Guest 66 skin concept. He is genuinely such a talented person, so it's not really that much of a surprise that he's making his own aysm game. Now, just like with FNAF, I'm not the biggest fan of Minecraft. I do think the game is alright, but I never really had that much experience with Minecraft. As a kid, I only played creative mode, so I never really had that much experience playing the actual game. But the idea of a Minecraft aysm horror game, I immediately love the idea. And call me crazy, but I think this could surpass Forsaken. No, I'm being really serious, this could surpass Forsaken. If you completely disagree, then that's totally fine, but for me, that's just a guess. Now, even though we're going to be talking about this game, there aren't really any gameplay leaks so far. But that doesn't mean we don't have any leaks. In fact, there are a bunch of leaks that we're going to be talking about, so strap in. Alright, let's start talking about Herobrine. Herobrine will be a starter killer along with Entity 303. Now, I know exactly what you're wondering. Wait, that's Herobrine? Why does he look like that? Well, let me tell you. Believe it or not, Herobrine did look like the original Herobrine. However though, it was announced on Discord that Herobrine would be getting a whole redesign, and it was mostly to avoid copyright. Specifically, Herobrine looked a little too much like Vanilla Steve, so they had to do a massive design overhaul. And hot take, this design actually looks really good. I don't know what y'all are fucking mad about, this design is awesome. However though, I do have a question. If Herobrine got a redesign, will Steve get a redesign? Since Steve is, well, the main antagonist of Minecraft, I'm actually curious if he will ever get a redesign. Because if I was Zocters, I would probably make a whole Steve redesign just to avoid copyright. But obviously, I don't work for Blockbound, so we'll just have to wait and see. Alright, let's talk about Herobrine's abilities for a second. First ability is called Sighting. Herobrine enters a stalking more, being unable to sprint any survivor in his line of sight. Will begin to stalk, filling their stalk bar. When it's full, they gain the debuff Paranoid for 20 seconds. Survivors that slowly deplete their stalk bar when not stalked. Second ability is Lurking. Herobrine goes invisible with his eyes being visible for 15 seconds, hiding his terrorist radius, and setting his speed to 18. When within 60 studs of Survivor with Paranoid, they are highlighted and he can teleport to them, removing their debuff. And final ability is In Your Head. Herobrine creates a copy of himself that stands still for 35 seconds, appearing to stare at survivors on their screen. When a survivor enters 45 studs of the copy, it will chase them, and if the survivor gets hit, they take 10 damage, get highlighted for 8 seconds, are afflicted with Paranoid for 20 seconds, then disappears. Paranoid causes the affected survivors to occasionally hear Herobrine's terror radius, sees eyes in the fog, hear fake footsteps and ability sounds, and take 15 more damage. Passive, From the Fog. The entire map is covered in thick white fog, hindering everyone's view distance. Herobrine can see further and has glowing eyes that can be seen in the fog. That's pretty much everything about Herobrine. Now let's talk about Entity 303. Now, not all his abilities were revealed, but there was one ability that was revealed in the Discord server. And the character actually has official voice lines, which you can watch right now on YouTube. Spoiler alert, the voice lines are fucking awesome. Alright, let's talk about one of his abilities. Ability 1. Volcanic Waste. Entity 303 will plant his skide into the ground, then begin sprinting fast. When sprinting, he will leave behind a trail of fire that can harm survivors, but also have low friction, sliding around when turning when manually, or automatically finishing. He will swipe up his sky, damaging anyone in front of him. Alright, so that's pretty much everything about the killers so far. Now let's actually talk about one of the survivors, Villager. The reason Villager is going to be the only survivor that we're going to be talking about, because only his abilities were leaked, not Steve's or Jesse's yet. So Villager is the best we got. Alright, so I'm reading this on my computer because the text is a little too small for me to read on my phone. So if the microphone sounds a little weird, that's basically because I'm reading the abilities while I'm recording this. So yeah, don't mind if the mic quality sounds like shit. First ability is called Wares. Cooldown 2 seconds. Villager comes with several items that he can cycle through to give to others. These include Mending Book, Iron Chestplate, Suspicious Stew. Mending Book reduces all abilities cooldowns by 10 seconds. Iron Chestplate gives 20 HP. Suspicious Stew clears all negative effects and gives immune to highlight for 10 seconds. Second ability is called Business. Cooldown 35 seconds. Villager tosses his current item to a survivor. When on cooldown, you are able to click on a survivor to talk with them for 4 seconds to reduce your cooldowns by 2 seconds. Third ability is called Bread. Cooldown 32 seconds. Villager will toss a piece of bread, consuming 2 weak points, healing anyone that picks it up by 25 HP. And Villager's final ability is called Plantation. Cooldown 22 seconds. Villager places down a wheat crop that grows every 10 seconds to the next stage, starting at 1 and ending at 4. Wheat can be harvested by you with each next level, giving you 1+ wheat points. Crops have 20 HP and can be broken by the killers. Alright, so we're done talking about all the abilities. However though, we're not done yet. Let's actually talk about the survivor roster and the killer roster, since there are a lot more characters to talk about. First, let's start off with the survivor roster. Now, I had to use Google Lens to actually find out each character. Not all the characters, but a few characters that I didn't recognize. Jesse, Steve, and Villager are the first survivors to release when the game releases. The other ones are for planned updates according to Zoters. First upcoming survivor is Darlord with 2 3s. I really have no idea how to say his name. Next up is the Derp. I think that's his name. I have no idea. I definitely recognize his character. However though, I completely forgot about their name, just like with some of these characters on this list. Third one is Ivor from Minecraft Story Mode. Fourth survivor is Petra, another character from Minecraft Story Mode. Fifth character is named Lucas, again, another character from Minecraft Story Mode. Sixth character, or sixth characters, are the stick figures from Alan Becker. I never grew up watching Alan Becker, but but seeing these stick figures being part of Blockbound makes me very happy. And also, they actually got permissions to use the characters from the game, so that's a plus. And the 7th character is Batman 4014. Alright, that's pretty much everyone from the Survivor roster. Now let's talk about the Killer roster. Now, the release killers are Herobrine and Entity 303. We already know that. But let's talk about the upcoming killers planned for updates. First killer is Mutant Skeleton, which might be a character from a mod in Minecraft. I really have no idea. Second killer is Steve Variants from Avocado Animations, which they got permissions from Avocado Animations, so that's pretty cool. The third killer is called Skeleton King, and we'll be getting a remodel to, avoid copyright. The fourth killer is the Troll. That's literally his name. I have no idea if that's his actual name or not. The fifth killer is Aiden from Minecraft Story Mode, which is kind of surprising since, well, he isn't really a killer in this. He's more of a bully. Sixth killer is Grox, which is kind of surprising, I'm not gonna lie. He was originally a survivor, but then was changed to a killer since, well, he literally tortures villagers for the fun of it. The seventh killer is Admin Romeo from Minecraft Story Mode. The eighth killer is called Mick Jams or just Jams. I really have no idea, dude. The ninth killer is the man from the fog. I was literally almost about to say Fogborn, I'm gonna be real. The 10th character is called Psycho Girl from the series Girls Know How to Fight. 11th killer is Warden from Minecraft, which they are the only mob that's actually gonna become a killer. No Enderman, no zombie, no regular skeleton, just a warden, which is kind of surprising, I'm not gonna lie. However though, he will be getting a redesign, to avoid copyright. The 12th killer is called Hydrian, another character from Minecraft Story Mode. The 13th killer is King Orange, another character from the Alan Becker stick figure series. And finally, the 14th killer is the White Pumpkin from Minecraft Story Mode. Alright, we're done talking about the killer roster. Let's move on to the rest of the leaks. Here we have Herobrine's killing animation, which looks pretty good. Here we have the shop GUI, which also looks pretty good. Here we have the health bar GUI, which also looks pretty good, and almost looks like it was ripped out of Minecraft. Here we have a teaser for milestone skins, which I think these are called achievement skins if I heard it from somewhere, but I don't really have any idea. In another leak, we have class types for survivors: Guardian, Stunts and Control; Cleric, Healing and Buffs; Scout, Distracting and Surviving; Adventurer, mix of everything, which is honestly really cool. And the final link that I have is this Technoblade statue that will be in the lobby, which honestly looks pretty awesome. Now, it is definitely the most respectful way of adding Technoblade to the game without making it too disrespectful. However though, the statue is not guaranteed to come to the game unless if they get permissions from Technoblade's family. So yeah, this statue is not 100% confirmed to come to the game yet. Obviously, you're gonna have to respect the family's opinion if they don't want the statue to be added to the game, because granted, it's their opinion. If they're not comfortable enough, then that's completely fine. So don't be disrespectful and also be a brat just because they said no. Got it? Okay, good. Alright, so that's pretty much everything about Blockbound so far, so let's end this. So this was part of the video where I'm going to be talking about other upcoming aysm horror games in the honorable mention category, but considering I talked about Blockbound for 10 minutes straight, I don't want to do it anymore. Now, these games are far from being the only upcoming aysm horror games. There are so many other upcoming aysm horror games that if I talked about all of them, I'd be here until the sun explodes. But jokes aside, I am really excited for these games to come out. They definitely look very interesting, especially Blockbound. And I'm sure that more upcoming asyms will be announced this year. Maybe. I actually have no idea. Anyways, that's pretty much everything for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to smash the living fuck out of the like button. And make sure to subscribe and click notifications so you don't miss any more of my uploads. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.